Hey guys, how's it going? I've been going to do an update on my pigeons for weeks and weeks now. I was hoping to get them out flying, but today it's blowing an absolute gale, as it started to last night when the pigeons were out. So we can't get them out today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about one of my birds, and I might do this as a regular little thing, you know, because I've not much else to say. I'm going to be breeding this year, but I haven't started yet. But I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm going to pair one of my birds up. Now, I've got some great news. You may have heard, or you may have seen me mention that I'm going to be on a video or a TV programme for the BBC, and that programme will be aired next Tuesday, which is, I think, the 7th, is it? 7th of February, Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, BBC 4, a programme called Timeshift, and I will put the transmission card here now. It's a programme, it's an hour long, and it's a programme about the British and the fascination with pigeons. And even if I wasn't in the video or had anything involved with it, it's just a programme I would really be looking forward to, because, you know, there's not enough on TV about pigeons, in my opinion. You know, it's a sport that's really badly neglected. So this is going to be a programme all about pigeons, racers, rollers. As far as I know, I really have no idea what the content of the programme is, so you'll be seeing it for the first time as I will. Now, for you guys in the States or elsewhere around the world, because it's BBC 4, the programme will be online after the transmission. So I will also put the link of the BBC website in the little description box below. So after the transmission, which will probably be either Tuesday or Wednesday, you will be able to go to the link and watch the programme online. So wherever you are in the world, you're going to get a chance to watch the programme. Right, with that said, let's have a look at my pigeons. They were out last night. Really, I wasn't going to let them out last night because the wind was getting up. It started getting windy. It was about 15-20 minutes before dark. I took the feeder trays out to fill them with food. One of the doors blew open because everything was flapping around in the garden. The pigeons got spooked, flew out the box, and they were up, getting battered by the wind. They were all over the place. We ended up with one missing, and she was back here, stood on the roof this morning when I looked out, so she's back safe. I'm going to show you one of my birds now, and I think she is my favourite bird of all my hens. Well, she's not my favourite, should I say, she's my best roller. And I'm going to try and bug and catch it. Don't want to go any Okay, so this is her. Oh, and they don't like being caught, my pigeons. I don't, as I've said before, I just don't handle them because they do not like it. But this is my favourite, well, my favourite roller pigeon. With regard to rolling, she is a cracking, an amazing little bird. She's got a lovely narrow wing and a short wing. It's just shorter than a tail. It's just shorter than a tail. Not very broad. She's got a lovely little body on her. You see the size of her. Lovely little apple-shaped body. She's bright-eyed. She's got lovely glossy feathers. And the reason she's one of my top birds is she loves to fly. And you'll get some rollers that are great rollers but don't want to fly. Well, this little bird, she wants to fly, and she has probably been the most problematic pigeon I have ever owned. She was quite young when I got her. She was only a few months old when I got her, probably about 2 months, and she really was barely weaned. The only reason I got her from another fancier was that the cock, her father, had managed to get out the breeding box, and he'd been killed by either a peregrine or a sparrowhawk. So the hen was left feeding 2 chicks, which were very young. I think they were only about 3 or 4 days old when the cock was killed. So the hen gradually lost interest in feeding her chicks. They do that, hens. Cocks will usually rear the chicks if the hen goes missing, but a lot of hens won't. But eventually they'll get off the nest. And her mother was sort of barely feeding the chicks, and her nestmate had died, and she was barely weaned. The flyer was actually part feeding her as well. So I got her, and I kept her in, and I trap trained her, and eventually she went out flying with my other birds, with my older birds. And it was probably only the second time she'd been out, and the wind blew up. It started hammering down with rain, and as the other birds started to come back in, she was missing, and she went missing, and I was hoping she would come back. I hadn't even seen her roll, but she didn't. And the weeks and weeks went by, and there was no sign of her, and I thought, she's died, you know, she's been killed by something or other. And through one way or another, I wrote to the local papers, and well, it was my daughter actually that wrote to the local papers asking to keep an eye out for this pigeon, because I was really, you know, I was really upset about losing her, to be honest with you, because of her pedigree, and I knew I'd never get a chance to get another bird like her. But through just a sheer stroke of luck, I got a lot of phone calls from people saying that they'd seen her, and I was racing around all over town looking, and it was never her. And then one day I got a phone call, and it was about 3.5 to 4 weeks after she'd gone missing. A lady rung and said, there's a pigeon, I'm sure there's a pigeon like yours comes visiting my bird table. And she wasn't very far away. I went to see, and there she was sat on the roof. Wasn't you? She was sat on the roof, and she would not come down. So the next day I went back, and I took a trap with me, like a drop trap, and I took a couple of my young birds and put them in the drop trap and put a load of food in there. And she came down, pulled a string, caught her, and I got her back, and she was like skin and bone. She really was. So she was barely alive. She'd just been feeding off bird tables. But anyway, I got her back. She went missing again briefly for a couple of days, and then she turned up on her own accord. But since then, you know, we've had no trouble with you, have we, mate? But she's turned out to be absolutely the best roller I have, and she's absolutely amazing. Like I said, she loves flying. When she gets in the air, she performs some amazing rolls. She's about a 15 to 20 foot bird in the roll, but the thing is, she rolls up like a tight ball and just drops out of the sky. And then when she's finished the roll, she is straight back into the kit. There's no messing around. She comes out the roll facing the right direction, and bang, straight back into the kit. And she'll perform like that for 20-30 minutes and keep performing. She comes down, she's not out of breath, she's straight in the box. She's a pleasure of a bird to own, and I just wish I had 20 birds like her. And this year, she's 2013 she was born, so she's nearly 4 years old. She's coming up now. So this year I'll be breeding off her, and I've got a really good cock to pair her with, and it's a cock hybrid, and he has very, very similar characteristics. He's probably a little bit more scatty, in so much as he can stay up when the other birds come down when they've been flying. He can stay up and mess around a bit, but I'm going to pair them two up, and I'm going to see what they produce. I think I've mentioned before with roller pigeons, for breeding tips, if you've got two birds that are really good deep rollers, just don't pair them together, because all you will get is birds that are rolling down and killing themselves. And breeding, pairing birds is quite a bit of an art form, I've found, and I'm just going off my experience. I'm no great expert by any means, but there's a lot you probably need to start breeding and find out the mistakes for yourself, and you'll get birds, click pairs that are absolutely amazing and produce great birds. From all the birds I've bred, I've produced some nice birds. Not a great deal, because you really never know what you're going to get from a pair. But what I can say is, if I've bred six chicks from a pair, I will always get one good bird from that 6, sometimes 2, you know. But what you're aiming for is to put a pair together that consistently produce great birds, and it's a very difficult thing to do and find. But that's where I'm up to. And I'll just show you the cock. She's calmed down now. She's a gorgeous bird. I'll just show you the cock I'm going to pair her with. You want to get back in your box now, don't you, kid? Come on. Have you got any feather mice? Come on, you can go back in. Okay, so the cock I'm going to pair her with is in here. There he is. It's going to be a nightmare to try and catch him because he's so skittish. And this is the cock I'm going to pair her with. And like I say, he's a real skittish bird. And this is a bird I bred, and he is 2014, so he's nearly 3 years old as well, and he is a fantastic roller. He got up rolling straight off the bat, and in quality he's about as good as the little hen I just showed you. Maybe not quite as good, but you know, she, in my regard, is just a top class roller pigeon, and he is very, very close behind. He's a lovely bird again. He's not too big. He's got a lovely little apple shaped body. He's got a nice short wing, not too wide, shorter than his tail. He's very fit. He likes flying. If the only thing, like I said, is wrong is sometimes he messes around a little bit when I'm trying to get them back down, but you know, he's a good bird. He looks just like his father, actually. Go on, lad. Well, he's a skittish bird, but I do find that the cocks are a lot more skittish than the females. The females in that box, if you saw, they're nice and calm and relaxed. The cocks, they're jumping and diving all over the place. And that's about it for today, fellas. Got stuff I need to be getting on with. It's just a shame I can't get them out flying for you, but they really haven't been out much this year, to be honest with you. And last year the weather's been really bad in the northwest. Winds, rain, dark nights, but hopefully now as better weather's coming, I might be able to get them out, and I'll show you some more flying videos. Anything you want to ask, please ask in the comments section, and if there's any videos you'd like me to do, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do for you. Any information you'd like me to tell you, but I'll leave you with the Timeshift card, transmission card, towards the end of the video now, and next Tuesday 9 o'clock BBC 4 Timeshift, the British and Pigeons. Looking forward to it. Okay guys, I'll see you soon.